for generations.
Extreme genes, extreme genes.
Dates in the Bible don't quite match the marriage certificate.
Extreme genes, extreme genes.
Uh-oh.
And welcome, Genies. It's Extreme Genes, America's family history show at extremegenes.com. It is Fisher here, your radio root sleuth, on the program where we shake your family tree and watch the nuts fall out. This segment is brought to you by 23andme.com DNA. And surely it is the year of DNA, 2018. And we're hearing that from all our guests so far this year. And later on the show today, two great segments with one of America's foremost DNA experts, CeCe Moore. And CeCe's going to have a lot of insight to share with you, talking about using your matches to break down brick walls and some of the things that you can do. And I'll share with you and her some of the things that I've been dealing with and doing exactly that, and get some of her feedback that might be of good use to you. Hey, just a reminder, by the way, if you haven't done it yet, sign up for our weekly Genie newsletter. It is absolutely free. We post my blogs there each week, plus a couple of great radio shows, one of the current ones, one of the old ones, and, of course, some links to some great stories. We got thousands of people already there, and we would love to have you along. And you can sign up also for our patron club at extremegenes.com, or just go to patreon.com/extremegenes. And for less than the price of breakfast at McDonald's, you can wind up with all kinds of great benefits, like early access to shows, our Ask Us Anything sessions on YouTube every month, and a bonus podcast as well. So we'd love to have you join us right there. And joining us right now is my good friend from Boston. He is the chief genealogist of the New England Historic Genealogical Society and AmericanAncestors.org, David Allen Lambert. Hello, David.
Hey, Fish, things are great in Beantown, and I just want to know how much of your free time has been eaten up by DNA Painter.
Now, last week, we recorded the show, and afterwards, David said, there's this new thing I've been playing with. It's called DNApainter.com. It's in beta, and it allows you to do chromosome mapping. Now, this is kind of a 404 level thing. I've talked to Kitty Cooper about this in the past. She's a big-time DNA expert, and it looked really complicated, and I thought, well, that's one of those things that's going to have to wait till I'm retired, which I may never do. And as a result of this, David, I was DNA chromosome mapping within 10 minutes, and it was absolutely fantastic. So thanks for the recommendation.
What I find is so dynamic about it is that you're allowed to overlap. So if I share a segment of DNA with one relative and I have a smaller match with another, the different color coding allows me to pinpoint the ancestor, the person I got the sample from. It's great.
It really is, and it's an amazingly easy thing to do. You copy, you paste. That's about it. Other than that, you pick the color code for the ancestor it comes from, and you type in the name of the person who matches, and you use gedmatch.com. If you're not familiar with that and you're getting into DNA, you need to know about GEDmatch. Also, you could use MyHeritage and 23andMe, but of course, because they have the beginning and ends of the segments that you match on, things like that. So as you get into this, those are the places, if you share your DNA to, that will give you the information you need to create this map.
It's so easy a kid could do it.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
I'll tell you, we really had a brevis conversation about it now, but if you listen to the Patreon Club conversation, we were talking about it most of the evening, interacting with our members.
That's true. That's true. And you can, of course, see that through patreon.com/extremegenes. All right. Our family histoire news today. What do we have, David?
Well, bittersweet and sad news. Naomi Parker Fraley, who we've talked about before, has died at 96. Name may not mean much to most people, but if you know who Rosie the Riveter is, she's the person who was modeled after.
That's right. Just passed away a few days ago. And the other thing that's interesting is they only really were able to identify her, last year sometime?
That's true. In fact, they suspected that it was another person. So who knows if another Rosie the Riveter will show up anytime soon. Well, we deal with numbers in genealogy, and if you use the Ahnentafel numbering, which is German for ancestor table, you know that you're number 1, your father's 2, your mother's 3, and so forth and so on. So you can get into some really high 6-digit numbers sometimes with your numbers of your ancestors. But if you've ever stopped to think of how many ancestors you have, and Dick Eastman has done a wonderful piece in his online genealogy newsletter, and it was how many ancestors you have 1,000 years ago. Well, that's about 40 generations and 25 years a generation. And now we'll give you, ready for this, Fish?
Yeah.
2,199,000,000,000, 23,255,550.
No.
Now,
No, I don't think so.
well, there's a great thing called pedigree collapse. Well, chances are, as I tell my kids, you're never alone in a room because you'll always be with family yourself.
That's
so
right.
we're all kind of our own cousin.
That's right.
So there probably were not 2 trillion people 1,000 years ago that
No.
you can choose from, and I don't think they make a chart that big.
Right, and that's only for 1,000 years. I mean, come on.
How about 10,000,
Yeah.
100,000 years? Well, it just goes to show you we're never done with genealogy. Let's call in the archaeologists next.
Exactly.
Well, as we do more and more things online, people are always saying, let's Google ourselves. Well, how about if you don't want to? And this is the case with the Right to be Forgotten trial going on in the UK right now, where people that have had criminal records that are now either closed or been determined that it was not their fault don't want to have that searchability.
And who can blame them, right? You go look for jobs, or maybe you're creating a relationship with somebody, and they look you up and go, oh, don't think so.
Exactly. And I think Judy Russell has talked to you about this before, and it really is a privacy issue, but then is it becoming revisionist history? What do we add and not add to the online searchability of history? I mean, my grandfather was a bootlegger. Do I want to go back and expunge his arrest in 1930 for dealing in alcohol? It's very, very confusing. This week's Blogger Spotlight goes out to J.R. Lowe. She is a student at the University of Washington. She's a history student, and her blog, great name for it, genealogistjournal.com. And she talks about the adventures of researching her own ancestors as a college student, investigating both history and genealogy. It's a great, entertaining blog, and it also shows you how you can create one yourself. Remember, if you're not an NEHGS member, we'd love to have you as a member, and you can use the code EXTREME from Extreme Genes on your checkout code to save $20. Well, that's about what I have for news here in Beantown for you today, Fish. Catch you soon.
All right. Thanks so much, David. And coming up next, one of the preeminent DNA specialists in America, CeCe Moore, talks about what's happening in DNA in 2018. Coming up next on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show. Hey, Genies, it's Fisher, and whether you're new to family history, a seasoned pro, or you've simply missed the event in years past, now's your chance to connect at RootsTech. It's the world's largest family history conference. Now, you can join everybody for 4 days of discovery and make connections to your past, enjoy world-class entertainment, interactive booths, and hundreds of hands-on classes. Listen to celebrity speakers like former Olympic gold medalist Scott Hamilton and Brandon Stanton, the founder of the Humans of New York photo blog, and Henry Louis Gates Jr., host of the hit PBS show Finding Your Roots. Purchase your 4-day RootsTech pass today and save over $80 on a regularly priced pass. Learn the latest about DNA, explore recently released record sets, and interact with exciting technology. You can join the excitement and the fun. Discover your family. Discover yourself. Discover RootsTech. RootsTech 2018, February 28th through March 3rd at the Salt Palace in Salt Lake City, Utah. Register at rootstech.org.
Extreme Genes is sponsored in part by 23andme.com, a personalized genetic service that helps you understand what your 23 pairs of chromosomes, your DNA, say about you. 23andme.com gives you a snapshot view of your DNA with more than 60 detailed reports on your health, traits, and ancestry, plus tools to explore and compare your DNA with family and friends. 23andme.com is the first and only genetic service available directly to you that includes reports that meet FDA standards. Here's how it works. Order your DNA kit from 23andme.com. Provide your saliva sample from home and mail it back to a CLIA certified lab. Then you'll be notified when your reports are ready online. You'll also receive ongoing reports as new genetic discoveries are made and as 23andme.com is able to clear new reports through the FDA. See why more than 1 million people are experiencing their genetics with 23andme.com. Order your DNA kit today at 23andme.com. RootsTech.com.
Hi, Genies. It's Scott Fisher, host of Extreme Genes, with an invitation for you to join our brand spanking new Extreme Genes Patrons Club. Now, the Extreme Genes Patrons Club is where, for as little as $1 a month, Genies everywhere can take advantage of Extreme Genes rewards, such as early access to our latest podcasts, members-only bonus podcasts, acknowledgement on extremegenes.com, and special monthly live online question and answer sessions with well-known family history experts. Catch visits with genealogy stars such as David Allen Lambert, photo detective Maureen Taylor, DNA expert CeCe Moore, and many other experts and storytellers. If you find yourself craving more stories, more ideas for digging up your dead, more inspiration, the Extreme Genes Patrons Club is for you. The rewards start at just $1 a month. Find out more now. Just go to extremegenes.com and click on our special Extreme Genes Patrons Club link at the top right, or go to patreon.com/extremegenes. Boy, we're hearing it everywhere. 2018 is the year of DNA, and so we're starting out the year with all kinds of conversations from all kinds of different experts in the field, and there is no greater expert than my next guest, my good friend CeCe Moore, and she is the genetic genealogist. Welcome back to the show, CeCe.
Hi, Scott. It's so great to be here again. I always love being on your show.
Well, we love having you. And this segment, by the way, is brought to you by myheritage.com. CeCe, 2018 is upon us. What are you seeing happening this year in DNA?
Just an incredible burst in DNA matches thanks to all of the sales that the DNA companies had over the holidays. It seemed to be the gift of the year.
Yes.
So many people got DNA kits. It's great for us. And we're starting to see those roll in 2016, over the Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, we couldn't believe how many kits sold. I think it was 560,000 for Ancestry DNA. And this year, there was 3 times more than that,
yes,
just at that one company. And all of the companies reported record sales. So that means millions of people tested just in the last quarter of 2017. So we're seeing those results roll in. If you haven't checked your DNA matches lately, go look, because you are bound to have a lot of new ones.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm thinking that a lot of these results are going to be coming in over the next few weeks, since a lot of folks would have been actually sending in the test over the holidays. And you think back, CeCe, was it like 3 years ago, maybe 4? I know it was early in the history of Extreme Genes that we were touting the fact that, oh, this company or that company is finally at 1 million samples, that for a total of I think Family Tree DNA was there, and then Ancestry caught up with them, and then it was 23andMe. And now, of course, we're seeing actually some matches starting to show up with MyHeritage, and especially a lot of European matches for people who weren't expecting those.
Yes, MyHeritage DNA, I think they sold 500,000 kits, I just read, over the holidays as well. 500 or 600,000, can't quote me exactly, but it was a significant number, and I believe they've also surpassed 1 million testers, which for a newer company, it's pretty incredible.
Very fast.
So it shows where we're at.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be if a company started up, they would really struggle for a while, and now DNA testing is so popular. If a new company enters the arena and does a good job with their marketing and their offerings, they can just jump in with the rest of them. I wrote a blog a few months ago saying that MyHeritage DNA was the 4th pond, quote unquote, because I'd always said we needed to fish in all 3 ponds with the big 3 DNA testing companies. And MyHeritage DNA very quickly joined into that, which I thought was interesting and really does say a lot about the state of our industry.
Well, you know, over the holidays, I was part of this thing. I had my brother and my half-sister in town, and I hauled them each out of the festivities over the course of the week that they were visiting with everybody. We had like 19 people in the Hotel Fisher, and I said, hey, come here. You got to come in here. Well, what's this? So, well, you got to spit in the cup. And so I got my brother to do it. I got my half-sister to do it. And so this all ties into my father's side, because my half-sister has another mom. But those half-siblings, they're fantastic, aren't they? Because you can really separate out the matches that you share from the mother's side.
Yeah, you're lucky to have one. If any of the listeners have half-siblings, definitely get them tested, because it allows you to zero in on just that side of the family. It's terrific. Have you gotten the results back yet?
Yeah, I
Scott?
just got the results back from each a few days ago. One came in on Thursday and the next came in on Friday, and I wound up spending most of the weekend going through and picking out matches that they had that I did not have. Some of them we shared across all three of us, and there were others that two of us had and one of us did not, and then just onesie-twosies. It was like, this is amazing. And what's really exciting about that is the confirmation you get on certain branches. For instance, I went back to a third great-grandfather, and I pulled down all these descendants over the course of time because you figure, hey, if you run into some of these names in your matches, you'll know where it's coming from. And I had this one granddaughter of a third great, and she had married, it looked like it was the same person, but I couldn't be entirely sure. So I had it in my notes about this person. And then here comes a DNA match to one of my siblings to that daughter with the name that I wasn't sure of. So they didn't have the ancestor. I didn't have the descendants, but the DNA put us together. And now I know that that daughter was indeed married to this man, and the family descended this way. And now, having been in touch with the tester, I was able to share with her where her line goes. And I've confirmed that ancestor through DNA, which is very exciting.
Isn't that incredible? When I am doing my research every day, I can see the potential of so many long-standing brick walls to fall.
Yeah.
I don't have time, of course, to do all of it, but I know that for many, many long-time genealogists, they are going to be thrilled when they find the answers to these questions that they've been researching for decades.
Decades, yeah.
They are in the DNA. The answers are there waiting, exactly like the one that you just described. I see things like that all the time where you look at the public family trees and you can see there's a discrepancy. They think the mother was one person versus another, or they think the maiden name was one thing versus another, and maybe half the trees will have one and half have the other. And I can very clearly see the answer in the DNA. It's right there. We can resolve so many of these questions, these long-standing mysteries. It's just such an incredible thing. I often find myself exclaiming, I love DNA. It's just so much fun.
It makes it fun to wake up in the morning, doesn't it? Or stay up really, really late at night. I was up till 1 a.m. the other night doing this stuff, and I'm thinking, I'm going to pay for this tomorrow. But it's also hard to let go of because you know where you're at, and it's hard to pick it up again, on another day or something. So let me ask you this, CeCe. This is kind of what I figured out with these matches now. I've got my brother and myself and my half-sister. Of course, we got these different matches. So what I decided to do was make a little chart where I have the names of the ancestors over to the left. So I list there the name of the ancestor and then each of us at the top. And then underneath I go through and I put the name of the match and whether they match me or my brother or my sister or all of us or two of us. And keep track then of how many matches I get out of each ancestral couple that way. Does that sound like a sensible thing to do?
Yes, that is wonderful. I mean, it's a lot of work, but once you have that all organized and together, you'll be able to easily see patterns where you're getting lots of matches to one branch, and maybe you won't get matches to one of the branches. You'll realize that there's some sort of misattributed parentage or some error in the paper trail. So I think what you're doing is a perfect way to organize it. I find there's a lot of struggle in organizing our genetic genealogy because there's such a huge amount of data. And everyone sort of finds their own way. There isn't any one set way that everybody uses. Different tools work better for some people. Some people love spreadsheets, sounds like maybe you do. Yeah. If you're used to working with spreadsheets, that's a terrific way to do it. Visual aids, I find, help so much. And it's this area of the field, I think there's still a lot of room for innovation and growth.
Well, and the thing about this is I'm thinking, okay, if I have the names of the people and do they match me, my brother, or my sister, and they come from this ancestral couple, then when I find matches to them, for instance, who don't have a tree, and it says, we share this match, then I have an idea of which branch of the family that particular match comes from, even though we don't have their family tree on there.
That's exactly right. And I use the shared matches features every day consistently for that reason. You get a new match, and if it doesn't have a tree, if you don't recognize the name, a lot of people just ignore it. You don't have to do that. If you run those shared matches and you've already identified the common ancestor for some of your other matches, it's really easy to see which branch of the tree that fits into.
So let me ask you this, because I was thinking about this the other night, and I thought, it's getting way too late. I'm thinking kind of weird here. I'd find the shared matches, and it would have a list, and most of them have no tree on there at all. And then I'd say, okay, well, why don't I look for the shared matches from among the shared matches? Does that work for you consistently?
Yes. In fact, I just gave a presentation at our Institute for Genetic Genealogy conference in December called Creating and Utilizing Genetic Networks. That's exactly what you're describing. So if you are working in, say, the results of an adoptee, and you haven't been able to identify any of the common ancestors yet because you don't know their family tree,
right,
then I'll do exactly what you're saying. I'll start picking out the top matches, running shared matches on those matches, and then running shared matches on the shared matches. And by doing that, you can create a sort of genetic network where you know that this group of matches all match each other or mostly match each other. They must all share a common ancestral line. And then you can have, say, genetic network number 2, where you have another grouping of matches that match each other. That's another branch of the tree.
Yep.
And that's actually how I resolve most of these adoption cases now.
Really? So you're telling me I'm very, very smart.
You are. You figured it out. That's really the best way to learn. People always ask me, how do I learn? What are great educational resources? The best thing you can do is test yourself and your family members and just dive into that data.
Yeah.
Start working with the resources we're offered, the tools that are offered by the companies. I don't even really use third-party tools very much because I find that the companies offer some really great tools on the sites now. And I can accomplish so much with just those that I often don't have to go anywhere else. And so, yes, you're very smart. You figured out what it's taken me years to develop.
I love that. I'm going to just save that little piece of audio right there. We'll make a promo around it. Fisher is very smart. Hey, I'm talking to CeCe Moore. She's the genetic genealogist. And can you stick around for another segment, CeCe?
Yes, for sure.
Let's get into it. Coming up next in 5 minutes on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show.
Scientific studies have proven that youth who know even a little bit about their family history perform better academically and have a greater sense of personal confidence and stability. Genealogy is its own incredible superpower that arms our children with super strength. But how do you get your child or grandchild interested in studying their family history? That kind of stuff is just for grandmas, right? Not anymore. ZapTheGrandmaGap.com leaps the generation gap in a single bound. Author Janet Havorka provides you with useful and timely advice on helping the young people in your life become engaged in their own family history. Janet has an entire collection of books to inspire the young and the young at heart in fun, interactive ways. She also offers creative tips and advice on her blog and in her free weekly newsletter. Stop by ZapTheGrandmaGap.com today to sign up for Janet's free email newsletter with 52 weeks of easy tips, free downloads, and order your set of resource books and workbooks. Looking for an easy way to show off your family history and share it with your family? Family Chartmasters offers beautiful custom pedigree art pieces and inexpensive family reunion draft charts in any design or size that fits your needs. With a free consultation at FamilyChartmasters.com, you can get started creating a new family masterpiece. Family Chartmasters has over 11 years of experience in creating and printing family charts. They can print any style of genealogy chart from any genealogy file and can create exactly what you're looking for. You'll work with a specialized and talented consultant whose goal is to make you happy. Decorative charts make fantastic gifts for all occasions. And with Family Chartmasters' option of ordering duplicate charts at half price along with your original purchase at full price, you can afford to give a family heirloom to each member of your family. Contact Family Chartmasters today at FamilyChartmasters.com for your free consultation. Family Chartmasters will give the greatest care to your family history.
We are back. It is Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show, and ExtremeGenes.com. Fisher here, your radio root sleuth, and this segment is brought to you by FamilySearch.org. My guest today is CeCe Moore. She is the genetic genealogist, and we've just been talking about the boom that just took place over the holidays, where they probably sold more DNA kits than they did in all the companies combined over the first, 3 years of this whole era, CeCe?
I think so. For a long time, we were just reaching for that million-person tested goal, as you mentioned, and now we've flown by. As soon as we got to it is right around the time that things just picked up and, flew past it. It's an amazing time to be part of genetic genealogy, that's for sure.
I'm thinking if you totaled up what all the companies have done combined, obviously the big one for DNA is Ancestry right now, but if you put them all together and the immediate and amazing growth of MyHeritage, we're probably at 10 million tested people around the world.
I think we're well past 10 million.
Really? How far?
I'm not sure, but I bet we're more like 12 million.
Okay.
I would guess. Ancestry DNA always lags a little in their announcements as far as when they announce 7 million, I think they're usually almost at 8 million.
Okay.
Like they're pretty conservative when they say how many they've tested. So I think in that database alone, we're closing in on 10 million very soon.
Well, we were talking in the last segment about matches and matching your matches and finding the matching matches of the matching matches and that type of thing, which is, I will not lie to anybody who has not started any of this. It's tedious work. I mean, you have to really have a goal in mind of what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to prove as far as the paper trail goes. How do you manage that? Because it's very sedentary, CeCe, to just be sitting there working on that stuff all the time. And it's like, my gosh, I got to get up and move at some point. Do you have one of those stations where you can raise your computer up and stand during that time?
That is really funny that you ask, because I have been looking at ordering one. But in the meantime, recently, I have been standing at my counter with my laptop. And then I also have one of those exercise balls, so I'll go back and forth, standing, sitting on that, and then sitting in my favorite spot on my couch with my laptop. I have to admit, in the last couple years, I have spent way too much time sitting comfortably on my couch with my feet up, with my laptop, working. And I just read a couple studies that said if you sit for more than 11 hours a day, you are 40% more likely to die in the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. So that is why I just recently started standing, had some sore feet the last few days from doing it. But I think it is important to remember. I mean, I really have a struggle staying in shape now because I get so into my research.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's right.
And I won't move for hours on end because I'm that close to solving it, right? You're right on the edge of solving it. And as you mentioned earlier, I have a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings where I'll have worked through the whole night and it's 6 a.m. and I'm still up. Because when you get on that...
You can't leave it, because if you leave it, you're going to forget where you were the next day, and it's going to take a long time to pick it up. And the other aspect of this is, I made this commitment, especially to Julie. I'm going to get out and we're going to exercise together, 5 days a week and all this. And then it's like, I'm so tired. I can't go tonight, because I've been researching or blogging or doing whatever it may be. So it was just interesting to get your take on how you manage that. Sounds like you have the same struggle as the rest of us.
I do. Over the years I've been doing this, I've gained so much weight from exactly that, from just being stationary and sedentary. And then, as you know, I shattered my shoulder this summer and have had a long recovery. So I've been going to physical therapy 2 to 3 times a week. And my physical therapist always asking me, did you do the exercises you were supposed to do at home? It's like, oh, no, I was on this case, and I couldn't get myself away from my computer. And he just kept telling me, you've got to get up. You have to get up every hour. You've got to be moving around. You're just going to, get stiffer and stiffer and not be able to use that right shoulder. Well, if I couldn't use my right arm, I wouldn't be able to do any of the research. So it's kind of forced me to get up and try to move around
and
more.
Behave yourself a little bit, Yeah,
and as awful as my accident was, I have to say the positive side of it is that it has made me more aware of that. but I have to get up and move around more. We all have to.
Hopefully we don't all have to go through something like you've gone through to
No.
have that experience and realize, wait a minute.
I'll be the example for all of you, let me tell you.
All right. Hey, we got a few minutes left here, and I want to talk about Finding Your Roots with Dr. Henry Louis Gates, who's going to be a speaker, by the way, coming up at RootsTech. And you're going to be part of that this year, and of course, you're part of the show as well. Let's talk about this season and your role in that.
So we just wrapped up in season 4, as most of you probably know, and what I most enjoyed about it was being able to integrate the DNA research more thoroughly into the paper trail and making it a more integrated part of the script. So the formula for the show from the beginning was that they do the paper trail and then they get to the end and they do the DNA reveal. And I very much have wanted to kind of combine those more and change the formula a little bit. And thanks to the power of DNA, I've been able to do that because it's become more and more important in telling the guests their stories and in solving their family mysteries. And the research team and the producers have all really come to understand how much can be accomplished with it. And over the years I've worked there, I've done a lot of educating and also just demonstrating by the work I have been able to do. So now when we have a guest, one of the first things that's asked is, are there any mysteries that could be addressed with DNA? And we're already researching for season 5 right now. And I can tell you we're finding some amazing things in the DNA. The growth of the database is just making it, better and better and better. And I'm literally, jumping up and down some nights in the middle of the night, like we mentioned, with things that I'm finding that we're going to be able to tell our guests about that we never could have uncovered without DNA, particularly our African American guests. I'm seeing such promise for putting some of these broken family branches back together. I think it's just incredibly exciting, incredibly promising. It used to be that I could very often find a slave owner who was in the genetic family tree. So I was able to accomplish a lot with the European side of their family, but not so much with the African side. And now I'm actually finding enough African American testers in there, and in some cases even testers from Africa, that I'm starting to be able to make some significant gains on the African family branches.
Isn't that exciting?
It's so exciting. If you're a researcher involved in African American research, you absolutely need to be digging into that DNA. If you're an African American who has, the typical brick walls of slavery, I can't tell you how much hope and potential there is in genetic genealogy for learning more about your family trees.
She's CeCe Moore. You see her on PBS and Finding Your Roots. She is the genetic genealogist. Best way for people to follow you, CeCe?
Well, I have my DNA Detectives Facebook group, which is almost 80,000 people now. And it's primarily people with recent unknown parentage, adoptees, foundlings, donor conceived. But it's also lots of people looking for an unknown grandparent or great-grandparent. Or if you're just interested in seeing the power of genetic genealogy, come join the group, see the work that we're doing. It's pretty cutting edge. And then I have my website, thednadetectives.com.
All right. So great to talk to you again, CeCe. Thanks for coming on. Have a great 2018. And talk to you again, I hope, in a few months.
Oh, for sure. Thanks for having me. I always love being on your show.
And by the way, if you haven't started doing your DNA yet, don't let this talk intimidate you in any way. You'll poke around, you'll figure it out, and you're going to make some amazing discoveries. And coming up next, we're going to talk to our Preservation Authority, Tom Perry from TMCplace.com on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show. Well, Genies, my personal family history researcher who sends me new information day and night has sent me some incredible new records and newspaper stories lately. Hi, it's Fisher, and the name of that researcher, by the way, is myheritage.com. It's the hardest working service in genealogy, looking for records of your family 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yes, even while you're sleeping. How does it work? MyHeritage uses hundreds of algorithms to match your ancestors to over 5 billion records from around the world. world, and with 97% accuracy. That means no more wasting time figuring out whether or not a match really is a match. I hear from listeners all the time who are shocked with how much information is accurately found and then passed along. And now MyHeritage will translate your ancestors' names into English or any other language you like from foreign records. In fact, it works with over 40 languages. No one else does this. Whether you're a beginner or seasoned researcher, you need MyHeritage.com.
Extreme Genes is sponsored in part by 23andMe.com, a personalized genetic service that helps you understand what your 23 pairs of chromosomes, your DNA, say about you. 23andMe.com gives you a snapshot view of your DNA with more than 60 detailed reports on your health, traits, and ancestry, plus tools to explore and compare your DNA with family and friends. 23andMe.com is the first and only genetic service available directly to you that includes reports that meet FDA standards. Here's how it works. Order your DNA kit from 23andMe.com. Provide your saliva sample from home and mail it back to a CLIA-certified lab. Then you'll be notified when your reports are ready online. You'll also receive ongoing reports as new genetic discoveries are made and as 23andMe.com is able to clear new reports through the FDA. See why more than 1 million people are experiencing their genetics with 23andMe.com. Order your DNA kit today at 23andMe.com.
Legacy Tree Genealogist is a proud sponsor of Extreme Genes. Based in Salt Lake City, Utah, near the world's largest family history library, we've been working with genealogists all over the globe since 2004 to track down records, find your ancestors, and the stories that bring your legacy to life. We also analyze DNA test results, help you join lineage societies, and find missing cousins or heirs to property. Legacy Tree is the recommended research partner of MyHeritage.com and is the world's highest client-rated genealogy firm. Call us toll-free at 1-800-818-1476. Call now or register online to get a free estimate. Learn from our free genealogy tips on our blog at legacytree.com/blog. Even experienced researchers can benefit from our proven and experienced staff of specialists who can bring new approaches to old problems. Legacy Tree Genealogists. We do the research, you enjoy the discoveries. legacytree.com.
It is time to talk preservation on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show, and ExtremeGenes.com. My name is Fisher, your radio root sleuth, and this segment is brought to you by LegacyTree.com genealogists. And Tom, good to see you again. I'm kind of excited because we're coming up on RootsTech, and you've got a lot going on there.
Oh, it is so exciting. I'm so looking forward to RootsTech this year. We'll be doing some new things we've never done before.
Now, RootsTech, for those who are not familiar, is the world's largest family history conference. It's in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's coming up February 28th and March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's like 4 days. And last year, they had somewhere around 28,000 people attend this thing. It is the biggest conference in the world. And then you can even watch streaming classes. I'm going to be teaching a couple of classes there. David Allen Lambert is going to be as well. I'm going to be moderating the DNA panel that's going to take place there. But at your booth, there's going to be some really fun stuff happening at TMC Place.
Oh, absolutely. One of the coolest things is we talk about wax recordings and wire recordings. In our booth, we'll set up a time and let people know when it'll be on a later show. We're actually going to put one of our blank wax cylinders in our Edison, and we're actually going to make a recording live there.
That's right. And this is going to be really fun. I've seen it done before. You really have to yell into this thing because it's not particularly sensitive to put a little vibration on a wax cylinder.
Oh, it's pretty much mechanical. Like there's hardly any electronics involved in it at all. You got to scream.
You got to yell into it, which is why everybody sounded so old and different. They sounded like a deaf old man.
Exactly. Exactly.
That. Well, that's practically me, having been in the audio world all these years. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and we'll do the demonstration. And I think you're at the south end of the expo hall. I'm not sure.
When you first walk in the main doors, we'll be off to the left, back about 2 or 3 rows, and we're doing another cool thing this year. We're going to have an island. We'll have like 4 booths instead of our single booth like we've done before. And I ran into a guy at IO Technologies when we did some fairs across the country, and he's got some massage devices that you can get that are like if you've had an acupuncturist. And we're going to have chairs there where you can come, take a load off your feet, put your feet in one of these things, or if you have a hurting back, try it out. There's no charge. We're just doing it as a convenience for our friends, our listeners to come and kind of relax and get kind of their energy back.
Boy, I think that is absolutely well thought out, Tom.
It's going to be awesome.
That expo hall is so big, and there's usually over 300 booths there. It's huge. So you just want to come and be a part of it, but then come by Tom's place and you can relax your feet.
Exactly. There's not a lot of places to sit down unless you want to go clear to the cafeteria area. So just stop by our booth, take a load off, relax, have some time to just get yourself back and get ready for your next class.
And if you're thinking, hey, I've got to get out and go to this conference, you can do so by signing up and finding out all you need to know at rootstech.org. And, of course, you can also do a search for RootsTech 2018. It's one word, by the way, RootsTech.
Oh, absolutely. And the neat thing, too, is they're going to have an app this year, just like they did last year. So download the app on your smartphone, and before you ever get on the airplane to fly out to Salt Lake, just go through and pick out what your most important booths are, the way you want to do it, and then you'll know what you're going to hit. Then go to those first and don't get distracted by all the other whistles and bells and carnival rides and things like that are going on. You want to get focused on what you want to do, and then once you get those things done, then you can go and browse and take your time and look around and see new technologies. But that way you're not going to get home and say, oh, I didn't know this was there and I missed it. So this is a great opportunity to totally plan out your visit and make the best use of your time.
Yeah, it's going to be a great way to go, and you've got to think about this ahead of time, almost like you would any other trip somewhere. You want to maximize your time. Your time is your currency, and so you can get the knowledge that you need, maybe on the issues that you're dealing with in your family history research.
Absolutely.
Now, you have something really fun going on with that mad professor, Marlowe.
Marlowe is the guy behind Heritage Collectors that makes the best software in the world to take what we've done for you and turn it into something that you can actually use. And maybe after the break, we can talk some more about it.
We'll tell you about it in 3 minutes on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show.
Looking for an easy way to show off your family history and share it with your family? Family Chart Masters offers beautiful custom pedigree art pieces and inexpensive family reunion draft charts in any design or size that fits your needs. With a free consultation at FamilyChartMasters.com, you can get started creating a new family masterpiece. Family Chart Masters has over 11 years of experience in creating and printing family charts. They can print any style of genealogy chart from any genealogy file and can create exactly what you're looking for. You'll work with a specialized and talented consultant whose goal is to make you happy. Decorative charts make fantastic gifts for all occasions. And with Family Chart Masters' option of ordering duplicate charts at half price along with your original purchase at full price, you can afford to give a family heirloom to each member of your family. Contact Family Chart Masters today at FamilyChartMasters.com for your free consultation. Family Chart Masters will give the greatest care to your family history.
When was the last time you heard your grandmother's voice or saw your family enjoying life back in the 1950s or 60s? If the reason is you haven't known what to do with your old recordings, videos, and films, here's your answer. The Multimedia Center in Salt Lake City.
We brought in a video project to the Multimedia Center, and overnight they duplicated it to DVD so we could meet our deadline.
The Multimedia Center, 2870 East, 3300 South, Salt Lake City. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Call 801-483-1717 or go to transferduplication.com.
Genies, it's Fisher with exciting news. The Weekly Genie, the official newsletter of Extreme Genes, is here. It's your Monday morning briefing on what's happening in the world of genealogy and family history and on Extreme Genes. Get all the details of jaw-dropping stories of discovery and keep up with the latest techniques in family history research. Get to know more about your favorite Extreme Genes personalities, and it's free. Sign up for the Weekly Genie now at extremegenes.com or the Extreme Genes Facebook page. And when you do, you'll receive David Allen Lambert's top 10 tips for beginning genealogists from the chief genealogist of the New England Historic Genealogical Society. Sign up today for the Weekly Genie. All right, right, we are back. We're talking preservation with Tom Perry from tmcplace.com. He is our preservation authority. It is Fisher here, your radio Roots Sleuth. And we're talking about RootsTech because this is going to be so much fun coming up February 28th and March 1st through 3rd in Salt Lake City, Utah at the Salt Palace Convention Center. And it is the largest family history conference in the world. People come from everywhere. They had 28,000 people come through last year. Classes and booths at the expo hall and all kinds of great speakers. Scott Hamilton, the ice skating Olympian, is going to be among them this year. Dr. Henry Louis Gates is going to be speaking this year, and you're going to want to be a part of it. But Tom, at your booth this year, you and the mad scientist Marlowe, the guy behind Heritage Collectors, are going to be introducing a brand new bit of software.
In fact, this is so cool. You older people like me, we have this new software that Marlowe's going to be releasing at our booth that is absolutely incredible. It's going to be Family Preservation for Dummies.
I love the sound of that.
Oh, it is so great. I mean, Marlowe is, he is a mad scientist.
Yes, he really is.
And he has come up with some things that are going to be absolutely incredible that you'll be able to take all your home movies, your videotapes, all these different kinds of things, integrate them together. And the neat thing is it's going to be able to work on iPhones, it's going to work on iPads, there's going to be software involved that you can use on a PC. All these different things are going to be integrated so you can get your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids all involved in it because it's going to be a fun thing. It's not like, oh, we're going to sit down and look through microfilm. This is something that is so cool. They're just going to have a ball doing it.
So talk about this thing with the one button for this, the one button for that.
Right. Any of you that have had the computer for dummies, it's called a Telecon. It's basically a touch screen, and if somebody wants to talk to their grandkids, they touch the button that says grandkids. They want to email somebody, they touch the email button. You don't have to know how to do anything except push the power button on. Everything's going to be right there in front of you. There's going to be amazing instructions. There's going to be even videos to show you how easy it is. You're not going to have to go online to learn something. You're not going to have this learning curve. There's not going to be a big manual. It's basically see, touch, and go. It's just absolutely incredible software.
Wow. And, that's going to be so much better to get seniors comfortable with using some of this stuff because that's going to help us get more from them.
Oh, exactly.
We can preserve,
In fact, one of the greatest things I've ever heard you say is every time somebody dies, a library is burnt. And so these old people that come into our store, I always talk to them about, hey, let's transfer your film. Now make sure you get out a ledger pad, write some notes, and narrate your film so your great-grandkids one day will be able to hear your voice explaining who these people are. And they just, oh, that's too hard for me to do. So this will be a way that you can get this software and learn this stuff. And even at RootsTech, they have booths set up. And make sure you make this as one of your must-dos where you can go in, you don't have to do anything. You go in, they close you in a room, and you tell your family history.
Yes.
And you can have your whole family there. You can be by yourself. So make sure you do that. They'll hand you a thumb drive when you're done. Take that, hold on to it like it's gold. So make sure when you get home, you put on your hard drive, you put it in the cloud, you back it up. Because these are the ones that say, hey, I don't want to touch a computer. I don't want to record this. I don't know how to do it. Well, now you have no excuse. Come to RootsTech. Get in one of the booths. It's totally free. The thumb drive's free. And then you'll have all your stuff. That'll be really cool. In fact, if you get it, you can stop by our booth, and we'll have a computer set up. And if you have your cloud account and everything, you can even use our computer to put it on the cloud right while you're there at RootsTech.
Ooh, it's going to be fun. All right, Tom. Good to see you. It's exciting times as we get closer and closer to the big day, February 28th, the first day of RootsTech 2018. We'll see you next week.
My pleasure.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground today. Thanks so much to the genetic genealogist CeCe Moore for coming on and sharing her time for 2 segments today. If you missed any of that, you're going to want to listen back to what she has to say about what's coming in DNA and things you should be alert to as you go about starting your DNA genealogy. Hey, don't forget also to sign up for our free weekly Genie newsletter. Yeah, you can do that through our website, extremegenes.com. It goes out every Monday morning, and we share with you a column from me, plus some great audio of current shows, past shows, and links to stories you'll find of interest as you go about your genealogy. Hey, talk to you again next week. Thanks for joining us, and remember, as far as everyone knows, we're a nice, normal family.